Hey nerds! Today we're diving into Smile 2, the highly anticipated sequel to one of my favorite horror films from the past few years. Can it live up to the terrifying standard set by the original? Or does the horror fade the second time around? Let's break it down right now. Welcome back to the Nerd Social. I'm Nate. As always, if you want to jump ahead of the income analysis or rating, see the chapter links below. So today, as I said, I am reviewing Smile 2, directed by Parker Finn, who also brought us the original Smile. This movie will be out in theaters on October 18th. The first film really took me by surprise, but does the sequel have the same bite? Let's go a little bit deeper. The spoiler-free logline for this film is: about to embark on a world tour, global pop sensation Skye Riley begins experiencing increasingly terrifying and inexplicable events. Overwhelmed by the escalating horrors and the pressures of fame, Skye is forced to face her path. As I said, this film is directed by Parker Finn, who also wrote and directed the first Smile. This sequel continues his exploration of trauma, fear, and the unsettling impact of that sinister smile. Finn not only revisits the chilling formula of the first film, but also builds upon it, giving us a deeper look into the entity's mythology. The film also brings back Cristobal Tapia de Veer, who crafted the eerie score, which adds to the atmosphere and tension throughout the movie. The main cast consists of Naomi Scott as Skye Riley, the pop star whose world is slowly unraveling under the influence of a malevolent entity. She is most famously known for Aladdin, but also Charlie's Angels. Rosario DeWitt plays Elizabeth Riley, Skye's mother and manager, who walks the line between protective and overbearing. She is known for Rachel Getting Married and Poltergeist. Miles Gutierrez Riley plays Joshua, Skye's assistant, navigating the chaos around Skye's life. He is known for Agatha All Along and The Wilds. Dylan Gelula as Gemma, Skye's estranged best friend, whose return into her life complicates matters. She is known for the unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and Shithouse. Raul Castillo plays Darius Bravo, the head of Skye's record label, more focused on profits than Skye's well-being. He is known for Looking and Wrath of Man. Ray Nicholson as Paul Hudson, Skye's deceased former boyfriend, whose memory haunts her throughout the film. He is known for Licorice Pizza and Out of the Blue. And finally, Lucas Gage plays Louis Forgelli, a drug dealer from Skye's past whose involvement adds a layer of danger to her life. He is known for White Lotus, You, and Euphoria. All right, let's start analyzing this film. Starting with the strongest aspects of Smile 2, the sound design and cinematography. The eerie soundscapes are both creepy and ominous, really adding to the unsettling atmosphere. At times, it felt like the terror was creeping up behind me in the theater. The cinematography also does a great job of mixing Skye's glamorous pop star world with a much darker, claustrophobic feeling as the entity closes in. You'll notice a stark contrast between the bright, flashy scenes and the darker, more intimate horror moments. One thing that I really appreciated about this sequel is how much of it delves into Skye's life as a pop star. It doesn't feel like a stereotypical portrayal. It's layered and authentic, showing not only the pressures of fame, but the real trauma Skye is dealing with, both mentally and physically. They even released an EP with songs from the movie. Some of the tracks could pass as real pop hits. The first movie introduced us to the concept of the entity that feeds off trauma and fear. Smile takes that further. We get more rules, more lore, and it's fascinating to see how the entity evolves and how its presence is felt through Skye's experiences. This time, it's not just jump scares, it's isolation, paranoia, and the lingering fear of what's coming. That said, the jump scares are still here in force, and they're just as effective as ever, with that creepy grin that still gets under your skin. Naomi Scott carries this movie. Her portrayal of Skye is key to making the whole thing work. From her fear and confusion to her determination to face the horrors coming after her, Scott nails every emotional beat. If she couldn't sell the terror, the movie would have fallen apart, but she absolutely delivers. Rosemary DeWitt is excellent as Skye's mother, Elizabeth, though her character is ambiguous at times. Is she a stage mom or genuinely concerned? It's hard to tell given the trauma in Skye's past. Miles Gutierrez Riley as Joshua and Dylan Gelula as Gemma also give good performances, rounding out Skye's world. Raul Castillo as the head of the record company, and Lucas Gage as the shady figure from Skye's past add additional layers of tension, especially as Skye's world begins to spiral out of control. The film also adds an element of body horror through Skye's character. She suffers from trichotillomania, a compulsive hair-pulling disorder linked to past trauma. This adds another unsettling aspect to her character as the lines between the entity's influence and Skye's own deteriorating mental state blur. Another thing that really stuck out for me about Smile is how it mirrors the isolation and paranoia caused by fame. Skye is trapped by the entity, but she's also trapped by her own stardom, constantly surrounded by people yet completely alone. It's a smart commentary on the cost of fame, and the movie draws some interesting parallels between The Haunting and the world of pop stardom. Without giving too much away, the ending of Smile 2 sets up the potential for a really interesting third installment. It doesn't feel rushed or forced, but rather a natural continuation of the story. And if you rewatch this film, you'll start to notice subtle details that you probably missed the first time around. So, in my final analysis, Smile 2 earns a dinner party rating, or 7 on our scale. It may not be as groundbreaking as the first film, but it's still a very strong horror movie that keeps you on the edge of your seat with its expanded lore, unsettling atmosphere, and Naomi Scott's stellar performance. Smile 2 is definitely worth seeing, especially if you were a fan of the original film. As for horror movies I've given a 7 this year, I think I'd put this above The Watchers. There's a link above for that review, which I think isn't as well written as Smile 2. I'd also put it above Long Legs. Again, there's a link above for that review if you haven't seen it, which I think was more unsettling and had some exceptional performances, but I had minor pacing issues with that movie. Finally, I put Smile 2 below Maxine. Again, there's a link above to that review, which I don't think was as tightly written or directed as this film, but it had more style and fun elements. What did you think of Smile 2? Did it live up to the first one for you, or did you find it lacking? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like and share and subscribe for more in-depth analysis, film, and TV. See you in the next one, guys. Bye.